Now we are starting with the next section of the today's session, how to create model-driven application. So in this model-driven application section, we would quickly get started with model-driven app. We would learn how to configure the forms, how to configure the views, and what is command bar. Now we can modify the command bar. So what is the option to modify the command bar? Let's understand the types of Power Apps. So if you remember, one of the product which is offered by Power Platform is Power Apps. So in the Power Apps, we are getting mainly three types of application. One, model-driven application. Two, Canvas application. And three, portals. Now this portals has been uh, moved as a new platform itself, the new product itself, that is Power Pages. So we would be covering this Power Pages separately. However, the main Power Apps which we need to understand within the Power Apps platform are model driven app and Canvas app. So what are the pointers around these two types of application? So basically, if we are looking for an application which would help our internal users, then we can choose either model driven app, Canvas app to support our internal users. However, if I just figure it out, the Power Pages targets external stakeholder. And you can see here, model-driven application and Canvas applications are for internal facing users, right? If we talk about model-driven application designed around data. The focus area is around data. However, Canvas application is more focused towards the user experience, that how user is experiencing the application, how beautifully and how easily he is or she is able to work on the application. That is the way we design the Canvas application. If we talk about model driven application, because I mentioned it is around data, actually it is powered by Dataverse. So the data which is there in Dataverse, that data would be used to create the model driven application. It is not able to connect with any other data source. It also provides us automation features as well. Although we can customize user experience in model driven application, but with the limitations. Very complex customization we are not supposed to do here. Again, if we talk about the customization with respect to the other perspective, yes, customization is possible with or without professional developers. If we look at the Canvas applications can connect to the data which is there in Dataverse. In addition, we can connect to hundreds of data sources. So what other data sources are available? Like let's say your data is already there in Excel or your data is there in SharePoint and you wanted to connect to your data to those data sources, you can easily connect. It is customizable again with or without professional developers. Let me quickly walk you through the pointers around Power Pages as well. So as I mentioned, Power Pages for external stakeholders. So it is a public facing website. It is also powered by Dataverse and it is also customizable with or without professional developers. So my main focus area would be here right now, model driven application, Canvas application, and I believe you are getting the good idea that model driven application is around data. It is created based on Dataverse only. However, Canvas application is around user experience and we can connect with different and hundred of data sources in Canvas application. If we talk about the customization and user experience, model driven application allow customization but with the limitation. However, Canvas application are completely flexible in terms of user experience. We can decide where to put what. We can decide here I should have the button, here I should have the text box, here I should have the logo. We can design the Canvas application like a plain drawing page or like a drawing canvas, and we can draw our own imagination. So let's deep dive very first model driven application. So unlike Canvas apps, where you build out an app screen by screen by adding logic and code as you go, model driven apps can be created with a few simple steps. It is rich component focused, no code design environment. So basically, model driven application can we say this is based on no code design. Okay, and the focus area is component. So it is more focused towards component that we need. Just allow me a minute. So um the second point says an ability to create complex responsive apps with a similar UI across a variety of devices from desktop to mobile. So basically, when you create a model driven application provides you a similar user interface from desktop to mobile devices. It is complex in itself, but it is very responsive application. When I say responsive, when you are looking at this application in desktop, it works well, and when you are looking at the mobile, it is also looking good in the mobile interface as well. So that is responsive app here. It is robust design capability. It is itself it is robust in design, and apps can also be distributed as a solution. So if you remember, in day one we have learned about the solution, right? It's a container. So in that container I can include my model driven application, and then as a part of solution I can distribute it ahead. So that is about model driven application. So when you say that, let's say I'm going to create a model driven application, so what is the approach we are supposed to follow? So when creating a model driven application, it's important to focus upon four areas. What are those four areas? Number one, model the business data. So in the data verse layer, we focused upon data model. We rigorously do the brainstorming session and decided that okay, these all tables which we are looking for, these all columns we are looking for, then we would be deciding on the relationship. So an appropriate and robust data model is like must. So modeling the business data is the very first step, and which is a very very important step. Then second step which you are supposed to follow is defining the business process. Defining the business processes, you can have business rules or you can have business process flows, which we would be covering in upcoming modules or in upcoming sessions. So the second step which you can follow is define your business processes, that what process a particular person should follow to have the data entered in the model driven application. Then configure the components. What all components? You can configure your forms, you can configure your views, you can configure your charts. So that is the third step which we are talking about, configuring the component site maps, navigations. So these all configurations we are supposed to do. Once configuration is also done, then finally we would be composing the app. So these are the main four areas when we are creating the model driven application. So if you just recall, in day one we have already created a table or whatever tables which we are looking for, it's there. Once it is there, we can move towards the business process or business rules. If we want, we can add that. Now we need to understand how to configure the components, forms, views, charts, dashboards, all these things. And once this is also done, we can compose the application. So these are the approach which we need to follow. So in model driven application, what we are going to deep dive as a concept, we would be looking at the building block of the model driven application. We would be designing the model driven app, and we would be configuring the forms and views. So let's move to the building blocks of the model driven application. So when I'm saying building block of model driven application, what are those? I would say data, user interface, logic, visualization. So when I'm talking about data here, we would be talking about tables, columns, relationships. When I'm talking about the user interface, the app itself consists of user interface. Then we would be talking about sitemap, or you can say navigation. We will be talking about forms and views. In the logic part, we would be having business rules. We would be having workflows. We could have business process flows. And other logics, right? And when we talk about the visualization, we can have charts, we can have dashboard, we can have even Power BI embedding. So Power BI dashboard embedding. So these are the building blocks of model-driven application. So let's explore the model-driven app design. So when you're talking about model-driven application design, this is the look and feel you would be getting when you create your model-driven application. So here you would have your navigation, that is like sitemap. Okay. Here, this is the command bar which you are getting here. Here, this would show you the list of views. These are the views. So this is sitemap. This is command bar. This is views. Okay. Here you can see a dashboard is visible, right? This is a complete dashboard on the screen. So you're able to look at the dashboard, or you can uh, activate the forms and views also by clicking on plus option. You can activate the form and you can make a new entry in your table, which is based on Dataverse. So this kind of interface you would get when you design your application, which is model driven application. So when you are ready with your modeling your data, you can directly start from the app designer and you can design your model driven application. Or what you can do, as I told you, you can first define your forms and views and charts and dashboards, and then jump to the model driven application and design your application. So this would be the model driven app designer, where you would be deciding what all pages would be visible, what tables, what dashboard should be visible in your app. So we would be looking at it practically. Let's see a demonstration on model-driven application. So as I mentioned, to create a model-driven application, you should be ready with your modeling of data. Then you need to configure your components and business logics. Then you would be creating your app. So at present, I am on the home screen of Maker portal. So I'm going to my solutions first. So I have created a solution which is named as CP practice solution. I open that. And at present in my solution, I have 4 tables available, right? So what I wanted to create a model-driven application with the in the context of book and book type. So my model is already ready. Now I wanted to configure the forms and views. So let's start with the book type first. So I open the table book type, and in the data experiences, so in this data experiences, just observe, in the data experiences, we have this forms, we have views, we have charts, we have dashboards. So at present, I am interested for forms first. So I click on the forms. There are various types of forms available. We would discuss the types of form in a moment after the demonstration. Basically, whenever we wanted to create a form to accept user input, we mainly go for the main form. So if you see here, this is my information main form. Okay, so I'm going to edit this information main form. So I say information main form. So whenever you create a table, by default, a default form is always ready. You can modify that as per your requirement. So you can see here, this is my form designer. And in the form designer, the left pane, if you see here, this side, this, this is going to help you with the menu option in this form designer. So if you expand this, we have components. We have components to design the form. We have table columns, which we can add into the form. This is the tree view, which we have. The tree view, which basically provide you the a hierarchical view of your design. Form library would come into the picture when you wanted to add JavaScript for the logic implementation for the model-driven application. And in when we talk about the business rules, so from here also you can activate the business rules. Okay. So at present, my table columns are visible. So whatever columns on screen, those are used columns. At present, I'm looking at unused table columns. Now, what I wanted to, after the type, I wanted to have the description. So I just clicked and it got added. Now what I wanted to move it to the second place. Then I wanted to display the number of books. This is also I wanted to move here. So you can see how easily I can move, right? Now, if I go to the tree view, so this is the view which I am getting. So information, I can change the name of the form also. Let's say this is new book type. New book type is the form display name now. This is my header section. You can see it is getting selected. Now what I am looking for, I wanted to move this owner column, this value to be visible here. So I just drag and drop on the header. Automatically it has been moved to the header section. Okay. Then in the general, this is my general tab. In the general tab, I am having a general section. In the general section, I am right now looking at type, description, and number of books. Whatever you select, respectively, properties would be enabled here. So if you wanted to play around the properties, like you wanted to make something read only, you can make it read only, right? So if I just go here and number of books, definitely we cannot edit. I wanted to make it read only. That is also we can make possible. So this way I designed the book type form. Let me save and publish. Now after this book type form, I'm going to design my form for book table as well. and I wanted to go to the book table. And here also we have forms. So I'm going to modify. Let me reload the page. Okay, main form. So similarly, I wanted to have this here. Now, book name is already visible. I wanted to change the display name for this as well. I wanted to have the name as new book. After the name, I am interested for the base price is new. Then I wanted to have author. I wanted to have author email also. I wanted to have the book number, but this book number should be visible on the top as a, okay, just a moment. Okay, I wanted to have the book number in the middle. And then let me go to the other options. I wanted to have is add-on price, then add-on price, then actual price. Okay, now I wanted to go for the book type also. Now there are some rules which I wanted to create. What kind of rule? If you remember, the actual price would be calculated column, right? And if is an add-on price, yes, then only add-on price column should be visible. In the same way, if author, if I say if author contains data, then only author email should be visible. And if you remember, we have already created two business rules on this book table, right? So let's go to the business rules here. So I wanted to create a new business rule with respect to my author email. So I said new business rule. So my condition is let me give the name also first. Check author. Check author. Data. I'm saying the field author contains data. If it contains data, apply. Then I wanted to add the visibility. Okay. Email visible. So I want author email visibility. Yes. else email hidden. No. So I created it. I wanted to be applicable it on all the forms. Save. Just a moment. This one. Oh, it is not saved. Okay, let me just do it again. Email hidden, author email, no, apply. Validation is successful now. Save. Activate. Activate here also. Now it is activated. Let me close this window. I say done. And now what I'm going to do, I want to make this author email. I go to the properties and I would say hide. So it is now hidden. It would be visible when the author has the data. Otherwise it won't be visible. In the similar way, I wanted to create one more rule for the visibility on add-on price. So let's go to the add-on price also. Business rule. Already one add-on price default is available. So let's see if I can edit this. So I'm saying if it is yes, earlier we have set it to default to 20. Instead of default, let the visibility off. Okay, I'm just changing this. So let's deactivate again because I cannot add it until and unless it is deactivated. I wanted to delete this, rather I wanted to have the visibility now. But this visibility feature would be working for the application. So I say add-on not visible. Add-on price, no, apply. And here I wanted to add one more action. First of all, make it visible and then set to default 20 as well. Add-on visible. Yes, apply. Validate again. Save. Activate. Again, activate. Close. Done. Let's hide this also. I selected properties and I'm hiding this as well. So both the columns are hidden. Now, if I wanted to create another tab, so this is my general tab. I wanted to create another tab. So I would go to the components. I have these options. Okay. So I'm creating another tab, let's say one column tab. And here, uh, let's say, okay, I have another thought actually. Let me add this tab in book type, which would show me the list of books with respect to the book type. Okay, let me do that in that version. So let me delete this tab from here. So I'm just saving this. Once it is saved and published, I'll add one tab into my book type table, sorry, form. There I would be listing the related books with respect to a book type. Okay, it is saved and published. So let me go back. I go to my solutions. Inside the solution, I'll go to the book type. I'll go to the forms again. This is my main form. It is taking some time. To load now. So my form is back on my screen. So let me add the component. So I go to the components and I add one tab. So this is my tab here, and I'm just giving the name list of books. This is the section, and in this section, I'm interested to have this subgrid control. So let me take the subgrid control. Now I wanted to see the books. So here is the books. I wanted to have this related records basically. So right now it is looking at the active books view. As I have not created the view, so I'm continuing with this active books view only. So I say done. And what I'll do, I don't want to have the label. So let me hide the label. And this is my grid control. I wanted to have a name books as the control name. Okay, so right now you can see only name and created on is coming because the name and created on is the default view which is available. So we would be working on the default view change as well. So now this way I'm able to create a another tab itself in the form, and I have made use of subgrid control. So there are other controls also which you can try. So let's say save and publish. I just do it again. I just wanted to be on general. Now it is done. I'm back. Going back to my tables, and I'm going to edit the views also. So let's go to the book type view first. So here is the view. So these are the active book types view. So we have various views also available, right? So I'm just selecting this one. So in the views, we would be able to see the columns. We would be able to see related columns also. We would be able to perform sorting and filtration as well. So right now it is showing me type and created on. So I wanted to have description basically, and I wanted to have number of books into that particular type of book. And I do not want this created on. So I just say I wanted to remove it. So I removed it. I want more space for description actually. So I'm just adjusting it. This should be the look and feel. Now, if you wanted to sort, you can perform the sorting. So I'm okay with the type as a sorting criteria. By default, the status active is the filtration. So I'm okay with that as well because I have not played around the status column. So whatever book type I'm going to create, it would be considered as an active book type. So this is the view for my book type. I say save. So let's go back. And now I'm going to my book table as well. So I say book. Here is the views. So I open the views, and here is the active books. So I open this active books view. So again, I do not want this created on. So I remove that. After the book name, I wanted to actually have the book number, which should be in the front page, front area, book number, name. After the name of the book, I wanted to look at the author. I wanted to look at the actual price, let's say. Okay. I wanted to look at this is new or is old. So I wanted to have this one first, is new, old, author, actual price. And one more, I wanted to have a book type. Let me adjust it. Okay, so this way I have created it. I wanted to sort the books basis on, you can sort the books, let's say I wanted to sort the books basis on book types. Okay, within the book type, I wanted to sort them by name. So this is my choice. This is the way we can perform the sorting. And as I told you, you can change the logic of filtration as well. So let's say this is going to show me almost all the books which I'm going to create. I wanted to create another view which is going to represent only new books. Okay, one special view I wanted to create, which is going to represent only new books. Means if the new book is yes, then that view would show me author and email ID as well. So, okay, let me save it first. Save and publish. With the help of same view, I'm going to create that. So I have the save as option. So I click on save as. I'm going to give a name, new books. Save. So in this particular view, I do not want is new actually. I know it is going to be yes only. Rather, I wanted to have author email. And here I'm going to edit the filtration. So I wanted to have, okay, let me change this condition itself. Okay, is new equals yes. So this particular view would provide me only new books. Save and publish. So I have two views created for the book table. So my forms are ready, my views are ready. I have not created any chart and dashboards, but if I wanted to create, I can create that as well. Now, before moving towards my model-driven app creation, let me show you a sample application. So if I go to my apps, because if you remember, I have activated the sample app. So in this here, we have a fundraiser, which is a model-driven application. So if I open that, we can have this kind of application, right? You have dashboard, you have fundraisers, you have donations. This is the kind of application which we are going to create. Okay, so let's see how to move ahead. So I'm going back to my solution. Now I'm on the all section, and here I say new app, model-driven app. Now what is my app name? Book management. So this is the app designer for model-driven application. So here you can see it is going to help me with the navigation. Okay, here is the data section with which I am going to create my application. That data would be visible here. And here is the automation section. If I have created any automation, I can include that. Or if I wanted to create a business process flow, I can create the business process flow directly from here as well. Right now, I'm not going to create business process flow. We would be doing it later on. So I go to the pages, and here I would say I wanted to have a new page. Now, what all pages on the content, what all content for the pages I can select? I can select data was table. I can go for dashboard, a URL, a web resource, or even a custom page can also be embedded. So at this point of time, we are selecting data was table. So I say next. Now, do I need to create a new table, or there is existing table available? So yes, I have my existing table available. So I wanted to work with two tables mainly. One is book and one is book type. So let me search for that. So I selected book type and book table both. So you can see it has taken both the tables into a group. Okay, so here, what is the group name? Let's say details, book details. So I have created the group as book details, and under the book details, we have book, which is books view, and we have a book type. So let me move this up. I wanted to list up the book types first and then books. That is my perspective. Now, if you see here, only one screen on in front of me, right? Suppose I wanted to create a different section because let's say if my application is going to be a complex application and I wanted to have a separate navigation page for some other details. For example, let's say I wanted to give access to the let's say Power Platform Admin Center. Okay. From this application, I wanted to go to the Power Platform Admin Center for the administration part. So I wanted to create a section for administration. So how can I create that section? So first of all, I need to go to the navigation and I have to enable these areas. So when I enable the area, so this section pops up, right? So this area, I'm saying this area is data management. And now I wanted to create a new area. So new area, you can see a separate navigation pane I can create. So this new area I'm giving the name as administration. This is administration area. So I wanted to create a group. So area, under the area we would have a group. So I say admin portals. And under the admin portals, I wanted to have a new page. Instead of a table, I wanted to have a URL. So let me give the URL admin.microsoft.com. That would give me Microsoft 365 admin URL, right? So I'm copying this URL and I'm giving it Microsoft admin center. And I wanted to have one more. So I go to the group again. I say one more page. That is also a URL. Power Platform Admin Center I wanted to give. So I say admin.powerplatform.microsoft.com. So I copy this as well. Power Platform Admin Center. So I created this, both the URLs. Okay. So let me go back to my data management. So you can see if I'm on the data management, I have the navigation for book and book type. And if I go to the administration, it would be different section. So this way I wanted to make it ready. I say save, publish. So my app is published now. Now I wanted to play my app. So right now, no data because I have not imported any data yet. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new book type first. So I say click new. So you can see this is the form which we have designed. So I say type, let's say the book type is science, books related to science concepts. Right now, this is only which I wanted to create. I say save. Let's save and close. So I got a science book. Okay. Science type I'm actually getting right now. Now what I'll do, I'll create a book also for the science. So I go to the books, and in the books, active books is my default view. So this is the way. So I say new book. Let's say the class 8 physics. Book price is 100. Is it new? I say yes, it is new. So if it is new, author becomes compulsory. So author, let's say Sumita. So when I say Sumita, automatically this author email pops up. So I'm giving Sumita at example.com. Add-on price, I say no, okay. Now book type. So definitely the book type I can search. It is a science book. So I selected the science book. Now I say save. So when I save it, automatically a book number got assigned to that book and my actual price got calculated automatically, right? So I say save and close. So I got my first record. So I believe you are clear how to create model-driven application. My application is working and the business rules are also working. Now let me show you. I'll go to the book type now back. If I go to the science, so in the science, if I go to the list of books, I'm able to see that book list also. Okay. So this is the list of books. Or if I go to the general tab, yes, general tab is going to. Now, why it is not showing me one? Because when a roll up column is there, it would take its own time, sometime uh, 1 hour also to calculate this logic that how many books are there for this particular type. Okay. So it takes time. That's the whole idea. It would be automatically getting calculated. So that's all for model-driven application. Model-driven apps implement a consistent user experience. So a key component of that experience is how users are presented and can interact with available commands, which are on the top always, right? So as a part of designing model-driven app, a maker can customize the bars to add commands, hide commands, and modify their behavior. So if we talk about the section, these command actions can be implemented using PowerFX or JavaScript. Commands allow users, so whatever commands you are getting, you are able to actually invoke actions in the context of the data the user is working on. Okay, so the commands are presented to the user in the visual collection called command bar. We would be looking at in the demo also where it is. Now, these are the areas where you can find out the command bar. Main grid, main form. Let me just do the highlight. Main grid, main form, subgrid view, and associated view. So if I'm talking about the main grid, this command bar is displayed at the top of a list of rows from the dataverse table when user navigates to the list from the left hand navigation. Basically, when you open your model-driven application where you were actually looking at the views, the main view, the main grid, which is displaying all the rows, there you have the command bar. Other option is main form. So when you click on plus icon and you open the form, then you would get this command option. So that particular command option will work in the context of a single row displayed on that particular form. Another option would be available on subgrid view. So this subgrid view is the part of main form usually for a table row and you configure the form to have a subgrid with the related data tables. Okay, so this command acts on the rows displayed in the subgrid list. And the last option is associated view. This associated view is it is there on the list of related table rows displayed on the main form. And the user can display this view by selecting the related table on the main form for a row and choosing a specific table to display. Okay, and this, if you are working on these commands, these commands act in the context of one or more related rows displayed in the list.
Now let's watch a demonstration on command bar.
In this video, we're going to look at adding a button to the command bar. We're going to use the Asset Checkout sample app to do this operation. I'm going to launch it in the app designer. What I want to do is add a command bar button to the reservation table main form. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that from the Pages tab and choose Edit Command Bar. When the command bar designer launches, it's going to ask me which command bar I want to edit. I'm going to choose the main form command bar. From here, I can see all the command bar buttons that currently exist, and I'm going to go ahead and add a new one. I'm going to select Command from the options on the new menu. Now, because this is the first time that I've added a command bar button, it's going to ask if I want to create a component library. Component libraries are used to store the logic that we create if we use PowerFX. If we were just doing JavaScript, we wouldn't choose the PowerFX component library option, but we're going to use PowerFX for our logic for the action on this command bar button. Go ahead and click Continue. Now that our button has been added, we can go ahead and set the label. Now, what we want to do is create a button for Next Available. So when the user selects the button Next Available, we want it to calculate the start rental date or the checkout date for that asset as being the next available date based on when it was last returned. And we're going to use the PowerFX logic to calculate that date. You can also move the button around. It'll place it in the beginning of the command bar, but I can drag this to move it around and visually see where it would show up on the command bar. Another tip for the command bar designer is you can also switch the command bar by using the options at the top. And you can also do things like open the component library if you need to add additional tables to your data source. What we want to do is go ahead and use PowerFX for the formula. So we're going to make sure the action is set to run formula and click Open Formula Bar. I've pre-built the formula that we're going to use. What we're going to do here is we're going to update the reservation, specifically the reservation start date, based on querying the last product reservation that was done for that particular product item and calculating the next available date. We'll go ahead and save and publish, and then we'll go ahead and play our application. We can go to reservations, create a new item. We can see that our next available button is available on the command bar. We'll go ahead and put in a name for who's checking it out. We want to check out the laptop. We want it for 3 days. And we'll go ahead and hit the save. And then we'll choose the next available to have it calculate the next available date. And we can see that our date is populated as December 3rd, 2022. And that's how easy it is to add a button to the command bar and use PowerFX for the logic on the action.
In today's session, we learned about Power Platform, where we talked about various products offered by Power Platform that are Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Virtual Agent, Power BI, and Power Pages. Then we have moved towards the overview of Dataverse and how to create environment. We have understood when we create the environment, then we can associate the environment with the Dataverse database within the environment itself. When we activate the Dataverse database, we are getting some standard set of tables. Although if we want to create custom tables, we can create custom tables as well. So while discussing the tables, we learned about how to create a table, how to add columns, what are associated data types are available for the columns, and within the Dataverse database, what all relationships are supported. And basically, we have learned there are only two types of relationship which are supported, which is one to many or many to many. Then we have understood the business rules concept, that if we wanted to have some validation and logic implementation on data layer or on model-driven application specifically, we can make use of business rules. So how to create a business rule, all these quick demonstrations we have also included during the session. After completion of the business rule, we started our discussion on model-driven application, that what is the difference between Canvas app and model-driven application and Power Pages. Then we have seen the form designer. We have also created an application within the Dataverse environment. After understanding the model-driven application, we have seen the concept of command bar customization as well.